Step right up. Today, you're going to learn about the humanities and why you, yes you, should consider going into this field when you go to college and make it a part of your life. The humanities encompasses art, literature, and history. They all rely on one another and have been shaped by each other. So why the humanities? There are so many programs and classes to choose from when you are thinking about a major. The daunting question arises even as a young child. What do you want to be when you grow up? I never would have thought I would be an English teacher when I grew up because that wasn't a common choice. Sure, a fireman, doctor, nurse, policeman were top choices for many, but I never felt one as passionately as I did when I took some of my first English literature classes in college. Even today, when someone asks me what I do for a living and I say a high school English teacher, most turn up their noses. Why? I love the fact that I get to hang out with teens every day and talk about literature and the history that shaped it, among other things. That I can learn each person's story through their writing and let them know someone is listening and cares about them. The humanities has allowed me to do this. Remember back to elementary school and your reading and English classes. You got to get out of class to go to the library. There was even a card catalog you could flip through to look for books. I remember the stacks upon stacks of colorful, eye-catching picture books. The librarian would even read the class a book every time we came to the library. The excitement of bringing books home and sharing them with our parents and siblings was contagious. In middle school, it had a new name, Language Arts. Was art really included in the curriculum, or did it just have a fancy new name? I don't remember any art or history being added, but I remember loving to read and talk about what I read. I also remember learning how to diagram sentences and listening to Grammar Rocks. Conjunction Junction is still a classic to my ears. Then high school English began. This is when most started to lose an interest in English and reading. I, however, was still addicted to reading and wanting to understand the why of everything. I loved being able to express my ideas in writing and getting feedback. There were no more library trips, being read aloud to, diagramming sentences, or fun anymore for many. What changed? We were changing. The subject matter was changing, and we were maturing, along with the books and things we wrote about. So what has changed in the last, let's say 20 years? The humanities is declining. One could blame the internet, technology, new state tests, and even teachers. But when there is a love of reading and sharing ideas through writing, the humanities feels like home. English is the escape I have needed throughout my life. I was never a good test taker, and I didn't like when an answer was in black or white. I liked the gray area and when my opinion was valued. Reading was my escape, my second home. As Edmondson expressed on page 113 of Why Teach, the English major reads because as rich as the life he has may be, one life is not enough. He reads not to see the world through the eyes of other people, but effectively to become other people. It makes you see that there is more to the world than you ever imagined was possible. You see that life is bigger, sweeter, more tragic and intense, more alive with meaning than you ever thought. For those of you who have had that love of reading and yearning to escape, why not revisit that passion with taking a chance with the humanities? Make that connection again with Grammar Rocks. Share the passion with others and continue to explore the ever-changing world of communication and social media. The humanities have a vast array of choices and flexibility within its curriculum. On page 118, Edmondson states, love for language, hunger for life, openness, and a quest for truth or truths. What are we talking about is the path to become human beings, or at least a better sort of human being than one was at the start. To major, quite simply, in becoming a person. So why did I choose to be part of the humanities field? I felt a calling to teach, and I always loved reading and anything that had to do with English. So to me, it was a no-brainer. I followed my gut, and was one of the greatest rewards life has given me. I get to share my passion with my students on a daily basis. The humanities has opened doors for me ever since I learned to read and needed that escape. Why not escape into a new world or revisit an old world and share that discovery with others? On page 163, Edmondson reflects on his readings about Malcolm X's life and how it affected him. I could read to satisfy my hunger for knowledge. I could use what I learned to make my life a little better and maybe help some other people along the way. That is what being part of the humanities is all about. Learning, sharing, changing, reflecting, and discussing. Why wouldn't you want this to be the core of your life? Humanities is where it's at.